The Broncos pulled off a couple of massive wins recently, and the more I think about it, the more and more I'm convinced the Broncos know exactly where the direction of this team is headed in 2025 and beyond. Welcome in Broncos Country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, and we are 4 days away from Broncos versus 49ers. 4 days, 400 likes. That's 100 likes a day. How about you hit that thumbs up button for me and prove to me how ready you are for Broncos football. I'm fired up today, Broncos Country, and I hope you are too, because the Broncos pulled off 2 massive wins recently. And I think you know that on this channel who I'm talking about, those massive wins being Zack Allen and Courtland Sutton. And again, we've covered both of the contract extensions. But something happened to me last night where I was thinking about both of these. And the more and more I think about these 2 contract extensions, the more and more I'm convinced that there is a plan set in place for not just this year in 2025, but the years beyond. So let's just take you back in time for a quick second. They have signed Courtland Sutton to a 4-year contract extension, a 4-year, $92 million deal, which at the time I was like, great, team-friendly. Courtland Sutton understands his place on this team, locking him side by side with Bo Nix. And now he is the 18th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. It's good for all, teams and players involved. And I look at now Courtland Sutton as one of the Broncos commodities, right? Someone that maybe isn't going to break the mold at the wide receiver position, but someone who is reliable, someone who you can depend on, and somebody who is a guaranteed, we're not going to worry about you player. That's what the Broncos did with this signing. We don't worry about you, Courtland. We love what you've done for the team. We love your consistency as a player. Now it's about making sure that that consistency continues for a young quarterback in Bo Nix. And speaking of Bo Nix, this puts him in perfect alignment with Bo Nix until the end of Bo's rookie deal. Because remember, the big kahuna is the quarterback contract. When a quarterback reaches a certain point where he needs to get paid, everything else stops. And you've got to focus on prioritizing your franchise QB. But then I started to think again a little bit more, like I said, about what this really means. I read between the lines. The Broncos are setting a core foundation. And I have said multiple times on this show that there is the core 6 players that the Broncos have. But now it's more apparent than ever that the core foundation is being laid. The groundwork is being laid for future success. Who did this first? The Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, under contract. Travis Kelce, under contract. Recently, Trace Smith, under contract. Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie. These are the players on the Chiefs that they believe are the ultimate foundational pieces for success for their football team heading into the years in the future. So with these 5 players right here, they're going to sit down in a room and say, what is it going to take to keep you on this football team? And that's exactly what the Broncos did with their core pieces. First, it was Courtland Sutton. Then it was Zack Allen. And I know there's a lot of haters out there on the Twitter world and on the Instagram world that are sitting there saying Zack Allen wasn't worth that kind of money. Bullshit. He absolutely was. And I'll take you back to his signing. 4-year, $102 million. I can guarantee you that in a year and a half's time, 2 years' time, we're going to look at this contract and we're going to say, we got a steal. Zack Allen called Denver, Mile High, his happy place. Sounds kind of cliche, but it shows you just the kind of relationship and the kind of team unity that Sean Payton and George Paton have cultivated here in Denver. And last year, I really don't think the stats did it justice. Zack Allen was a monster on the defensive line. The PFF grade, not nearly good enough as to how dominant he was. And there were so many times where he didn't end up finishing a play. Remember, he had 40 quarterback hits last year. So opposing quarterbacks are seeing Zack Allen, and they're getting the ball out as quickly as they can because they don't want to get smoked by him. But with that said, he still had 8.5 sacks. Now, remember I said the core contracts. Well, let's just take a look at all the guys they have locked up. So these are the 6 core. Remember, this is what I listed. Surtain, Allen, Sutton, Bo Nix, Quinn Meinerz, and Nick Bonitto. Those are the guys right now, the foundational pieces of the Broncos, I guess you want to call it their foundation of their team. Pat Surtain got locked up. If you want to throw that up one more time there, Dilly, that'd be great. Pat Surtain got locked up. Courtland Sutton is locked up. Zack Allen is locked up. Bo's still under his rookie contract, which is a great place to be considering he's dirt cheap. And then Quinn Meinerz also got locked up last year. And Nick Bonitto is the last one where he's still negotiating his contract. So after Nick Bonitto gets paid, 5 out of your 6 core players are all paid. And then Bo Nix is still on his rookie deal. So he's technically under contract, but that second contract is going to be the big one. And I love it. And I'll tell you why I love it. I'm going to bring some other teams in just a little bit to prove what the Broncos are doing coming into 2025. So I'm going to ask you this question first. What is your confidence level in the Broncos front office? Scale it 1 to 10 for me. Right now, it's at an all-time high. I think it's a 9. I think it's a 9 or a 9.5. 10 means perfect. So I'm going to say 9 or 9.5. I think they're firing on all cylinders. But if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said, the question, the overarching umbrella question now is, what does it mean moving forward? How does this affect the Broncos, not only in 2025, but 2026, 27, 28, and well into the future? Well, I have the answer to that, and it was so apparent to me as I was sitting on my couch last night. And I'm going to tell you what that is. But before we do that, my friends, I got to tell you about today's sponsor at Brunt. I want you to take a look at this really quick for me. This sweet Marin design is supposed to be the most stylish and comfortable work boot that you have ever put on, and it certainly is. My old work boots, being someone down here in Texas that likes to get out into the yard and do some yard work, was not cutting it. They weren't comfortable, nor were they stylish. And now, I don't have to sacrifice that whatsoever. Brunt makes work boots look and feel amazing. So here is what they've got going on right now. They were tired of other workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work way too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that just don't hold up. But Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs, from heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets. Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Like I said, my former work boots out the window. Now I'm wearing Brunt. They're comfortable. There's no break-in. There's no sore feet, because you out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. So like I said, they've got a great deal going on. They built something better. The boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. And for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. Use the code CHAT, and you're good to go. And after you order, they're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about Brunt? Do us a favor. Tell them the Broncos Breakdown at Chat Sports sent you. Again, $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at checkout. Go to bruntworkwear.com. I'll have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. So the next big move coming, what does it mean moving forward, is obviously Nick Bonitto. And like I said, once he's locked up, the Broncos are 5 out of 6 out of the core pieces. And I know a lot of people are like, how do you not have Garrett Bowles as a core piece? Well, Quinn Meinerz is literally ranked the number 2 guard at his position. Garrett Bowles is good, but not number 2 good. So if you had to go on the outside looking in, yes, he'd be like your 7th man, essentially. But that's neither here nor there. So let's talk about the highest paid edges per year. Because Nick Bonitto's not going to get top 5 money. I just don't think it's going to happen. He will get top 10 money. He's going to get more than what Montez Sweat is making. My guess is right now, $26 million a year feels right. So that would put him at number 8 in the NFL. But once he is signed, The Broncos have the framework for what dynasties do. Hold on, I know I used the D word. And everyone's going to be like, you have to win one Super Bowl to be considered a dynasty. True, but I'm not talking about becoming a dynasty just yet. I'm talking about the framework and the foundation for what all of the great dynasties became. Right? There's a reason the Dallas Cowboys are struggling right now and have struggled since the 90s. Jerry Jones gets these outstanding players, and then it's a soap opera until one of them, a.k.a. Micah Parsons, says, I don't want to play here anymore. This is just too much. And Jerry just loves the spotlight. So you see time and time again, lower tier organizations have these outstanding core foundational pieces, and they just run them through the muck, squeeze every last bit of juice that they can out of them, and then they go, well, we just don't know if we want to pay you all that money. No. The Broncos are prioritizing getting the deals done. And they're getting done before Bo gets paid. Because if you didn't lock up Zack Allen, and you didn't lock up Nick Bonitto, Courtland Sutton, Quinn Meinerz, Pat Surtain, then when you have to go pay your quarterback, you don't have enough cap space to pay the rest of your guys. So year by year, contract by contract, George Paton says, hey, here's the value. Here's what the current market sits at. Here's what you're worth. We're going to pay it for you. And of course, everybody's happy because at the time, the market value is dictating what these guys are getting paid. But make no mistake about it, when Bo's rookie deal comes up, you're looking at minimum $50 million. That's the basement. You could be looking at more than 60. In fact, there's a lot of ESPN analysts and a lot of football analysts out there that believe that $70 million, $75 million is not that far out of the future. So before Bo gets paid, lock up your other players. Because once that happens, you're set. The groundwork is set. You've got a young quarterback. The other five are stabilized, and Sean Payton recognizes that and is like, now our window, which is what he said at his most recent press conference, our Super Bowl window is officially open. Remember, we are just 4 days away from our game against the 49ers. So that means 400 likes. I know it says 500 there, so why not? Why not? Just go hit that one little extra. And remember, if you've already hit the like button, don't unpress the like button. I realize the double tap can get me into some trouble. My name is Moose. I'm going to be live for Broncos Breakdown Live coming up here at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So join us there. Until next time, be cool.